Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to study the next chapter of your zoology part, that is biology part 2, study of animal tissue. Okay, so in botany you will be having study of plant tissue, and in zoology you will be having study of animal tissue. Now you know very well what exactly is tissue, right? Tissue is a group of cell which is similar in structure and similar in function. Whenever a single cell undergoes division, right, that is cell division, and that cell divides to form a group of cell, that group of cell is generally called tissue, and this tissue is similar in its structure and its function. The branch of the biology which generally deals with the study of tissue is called histology. So histology is the branch of a biology which generally deals with the study of a tissue. Now in this chapter basically we are going to study 4 different types of tissue. First one, epithelial tissue. Second, connective tissue. Third, muscular tissue. And fourth, nervous tissue. So all these tissues we are going to study in detail. So today we are going to start with a very important type of a first tissue, that is called epithelial tissue. Now you know very well, when you talk about epithelial tissue, this is the most widely distributed type of a tissue in the body, right? Okay, now this epithelial tissue, the cells here are compactly arranged with each other. You can see all this epithelial tissue, they do not contain any kind of a intercellular space or a gap, right? That's why here the cells are compactly arranged with each other. Now the cells exhibit in different form. Some cells are polygonal, some cells are flat, some cells are cuboidal, and some cells are columnar or column-like or elongated cell. Now here, when you talk about all this cell lie down on a non-cellular membrane, and that non-cellular membrane is called basement membrane, right? Okay, so all epithelial cell lie down on a non-cellular membrane, and that is called basement membrane. Now one peculiarity of the epithelial tissue is that epithelial tissue does not contain its own blood vessels, right? They are avascular, that is, they do not contain their own blood vessels. Now let's start with the different types of epithelial tissue. The first one is called squamous epithelium. Every tissue we are going to study 3 points. First, location, second, structure, and third is the function. Come on, squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium location says that it is found in the peritoneal lining of the blood vessels and the cavities, right? We have the body cavities, and in the peritoneal lining of the blood vessel, mouth cavity, that is the buccal cavity, etc., the squamous epithelium is generally found. Now, let's see the structure of the squamous epithelium, right? So, first point, the cells are flat, right? The cells are flat and they are polygonal. You know what is polygonal? Somewhat hexagonal cells, correct? Okay, so the cells are polygonal or hexagonal and they are flat cells. Okay, they are compactly arranged with each other. Compactly arranged with each other means they are tightly arranged with each other. Every type of a squamous epithelial cell contains centrally placed nucleus, and it is generally surrounded by the granular cytoplasm. Now, these cells are arranged tightly with each other, compactly with each other, and they look like the tiles of the floor, right? Have you ever seen the tiles of the floor? They do not have a single minute gap. Like that, the cells are arranged like the tiles of the floor, and that's why this squamous epithelium is also called pavement epithelium. Which type of epithelium? Pavement epithelium. Okay. Now, when you talk about the squamous epithelial tissue, let's come on to the function. The function of the squamous epithelial tissue is filtration and diffusion, right? Now, what filtration? Filtration of the blood, right? And what diffusion? Diffusion means transportation of the gases. That is all about your first type of a tissue, squamous epithelial tissue. Okay, pavement epithelium. Now let's come on to the second one, that is called cuboidal epithelial tissue, right? Okay, with the name only we get this word, that is cube shaped cell. That's why this epithelial tissue is called cuboidal epithelial tissue. Now location, it is majorly found in the thyroid gland. right? Okay, basically the location of the cuboidal epithelial is, it is found in the kidney and the thyroid gland. You know, one pair of the kidney is present in the lower abdomen and thyroid gland is present in the neck, near to the neck. Now the structure, the cells are somewhat cube shaped. That's why the name is generally given cuboidal epithelial, right? It also contains the nucleus, and that nucleus is surrounded by a granular cytoplasm. Okay, and all this cell lie down on a non-cellular membrane. That non-cellular membrane is called basement membrane, right? Same in the squamous epithelium, all the cell rests down on a non-cellular membrane. That non-cellular membrane is called basement membrane. And similarly, all the cuboidal cube-shaped cell lie down on a non-cellular membrane that is called basement membrane. Okay, now what is the function of cuboidal epithelium? Very simple. As this type of a tissue is present in the thyroid gland and the kidney, its major role is secretion, right? They play an important role in the secretion and also filtration. That's what all about your cuboidal epithelium. Third type of a tissue, that is columnar. See, here the name was cuboidal, cube-shaped cell. Here the name is columnar, column-like cell. Okay, now what is the location of columnar epithelial tissue? Columnar epithelial tissue are present in the visceral organ such as small intestine, stomach, etc. You all know visceral organ, the organs which are present in our body for physiological processes, right? So in small intestine, stomach, basically the columnar epithelial tissue is present. Now let's talk about the structure. Can you see the cells? Are the cells flat? No. The cells are long, pillar-like or column-like, placed one after the other. Correct? So the cells are long, they are pillar-like, they are elongated, and they are column-like tall cell. Anterior end is broader, whereas the posterior end is narrower. Correct? Okay, the anterior end is broader, the posterior end is narrower. Now this anterior surface of the columnar epithelial cell contains a specialized type of projection that is called microvilli or the brush border. Okay, we have studied what exactly is microvilli. Microvilli or brush border increases the surface area for absorption. Correct? As this type of epithelium is present in the stomach and small intestine. What is the major function of stomach and small intestine? Digestion. So to increase the surface area for absorption, we require microvilli, which is present on the anterior surface of columnar epithelium. Okay, is the nucleus present at the center? No, the nucleus is generally present at the base. So it is called basal nucleus. The nucleus is present at the base and it is surrounded by the cytoplasm. This also, all cells lie down on a non-cellular membrane. That non-cellular membrane is called basement membrane. Okay, so cells are tall, pillar-like. Anterior end is broader, posterior end is narrower. Anterior end contains microvilli or brush border to increase the surface area for absorption. And the last function, what would be the function? It increases the surface area for maximum absorption. Clear? Okay. Next one is ciliated epithelial tissue. Right? Again, the name is ciliated. That is cilia. Okay. Now, ciliated epithelial tissue is present in the respiratory tract. Okay. And the fallopian tubes of your female reproductive system, right? Everyone knows respiratory tract starts from the nose and ends up to the bronchi and the lungs. So here you have a trachea, that is the windpipe where the ciliated epithelium is present. And also in the fallopian tube of female reproductive system, when the egg is released, the fallopian tube contains cilia through which the egg is trapped. Okay, now let's see the structure. Somewhat similarities between the columnar and ciliated. Correct? Both diagrams are similar. Both structures are similar. How? See, the cells are long, tall, pillar-like, placed one after the other. Correct? Anterior end is broader, posterior end is narrower. Right? It also contains the nucleus as the base and it is surrounded by the cytoplasm. And all the cell lie down on a non-cellular membrane which is called basement membrane. Now what is the striking point here? The anterior broader surface contains hair-like cytoplasmic structure. Hair-like cytoplasmic structure are called cilia. Okay, here it was microvilli. Here it is cilia, which are the hair-like structure. Now everyone knows what are cilia. Cilia are hair-like cytoplasmic structure, and that plays an important role in locomotion, that is movement. So the function of the ciliated epithelium is that it generally entraps the dust particles which comes along the air, right? That's why such kind of epithelium is present majorly in the respiratory tract and fallopian tube of female. Why in the fallopian tube of female? So that the egg, when it has been released during the menstrual cycle, is been trapped by the fallopian tubes with the help of fimbriae, and it will pass to the reproductive tract. That's what all about your ciliated epithelium. So the major difference between columnar and ciliated: at the anterior surface microvilli to increase the surface area for absorption, and here at the anterior end cilia for movement. And the last type, that is called glandular epithelial tissue, right? Again, the name glandular, it means it is present in the glands. Okay, here also location, they are present in the glands, that is, it might be a unicellular or a multicellular gland. Okay, so again the cells are long, pillar like, tall like, okay, placed one after the other. Anterior end is broader, posterior end is narrower. All the cell lie down on a non-cellular membrane, that is called basement membrane. Here also the nucleus is present at the base, and an amount of cytoplasm is scattered around it. Now here, this glandular epithelial cell contains a specialized type of cell that is called goblet cell. The only peculiarity or the feature of the glandular epithelial from rest of the tissues is that it contains the goblet cell, and these goblet cells are the large cell which are responsible for the secretion of mucus. Right? So the mucus is secreted by the goblet cells, which are generally present in glandular epithelial tissue. Okay, now they might be of two types, unicellular or multicellular, correct? No, unicellular glands or multicellular gland. Now let's talk about the function of the glandular epithelial tissue. Again, you know, all glands have only one function, that is secretion, right? So this glandular epithelium plays an important role in secretion. Okay, let's take some example. Salivary gland, which is present in mouth. What does it do? It secretes the saliva, right? Sweat gland, it secretes sweat, right? Next, sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland is present in the skin, right? And it secretes the oily product that is called sebum, right? Thyroid gland, which is present in the neck, secretes thyroxine. Mammary gland, which is present in the females, right? And that mammary gland secretes milk, right? So the function of glandular epithelium is secretion. These are all the different types of epithelial tissues which are widely distributed in our body. When you talk about the skin, right? The outer lining of the skin, dermis or epidermis, is also made up of epithelial tissue. Hence it is the widely distributed type of tissue. Okay, so we have seen all the different types of epithelial tissue: squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium, and glandular epithelium with their structure, location, and function. Thank you.